Hi, everybody. I'm Brett from the Ohio Painting Company, and you found episode 1 of the Ohio Painting Company podcast here on January 4th. Topic for the day today is with the founders, Kevin Sillaman and Nick Goebel. They're going to take us back and look at the history of themselves as well as the early days of the Ohio Painting Company. So we're not going to keep you here too long. We're going to jump straight into the podcast, episode 1 of the Ohio Painting Company podcast. Kevin Sillaman and Nick Goebel, the founders of the Ohio Painting Company. Very appropriate for the Ohio Painting Company podcast. Kevin and Nick, pleasure to see you. And, just to kind of get this whole thing started, which one's Kevin, which one's Nick, so the viewers at home know who we're talking to here.
I'm Nikolai. Kevin.
Very good. Very good. The Ohio Painting Company founders, that's a sweet title right there, but it wasn't for one of you, it wasn't for the other one of you, it's because of both of you, right? I mean, you got to take me back a little bit to explain the real start of the Ohio Painting Company, just so people know.
Well, it started way before I came along.
But let's just go with where the Ohio Painting started. Yeah, I like that. It was a basketball shot.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. And I'm not a basketball fan. There's only one person that can turn me into a basketball fan, and be my son. And he's not currently playing. I'm a wrestler. Yeah, and I don't think Kevin prides himself on being a basketball player either.
5'4". I made one shot all the way through high school. It was at lunchtime.
My game high was 6 points. And I think I might have been 6 years old, so it was all kind of full circle. I wasn't even a sports guy. I mean, really, not until high school. I started rowing crew and things like that, but that wasn't.
I did crew. I was a coxswain.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect. 5'4", right?
5'4", you can't beat it. I ran us into a bridge. It was the last time I ever coxswained.
Yep. Shoot you right out of the boathouse. Takes you back home. It
was great.
I haven't heard that story yet, so yeah.
It's fun.
I'm sure it's a good one.
I'm sure
that's good.
I'm sure it is.
What? Tell me, Kevin. Who's been doing it longer? Obviously, Kevin, you got a few years on Nick. I'm not trying to say anybody's age on the show or anything like that, but talk a little bit about how you got into the industry in the first place, and then we'll kind of spread out from there.
A super fast recap. The very, very beginning was I spent the summer with my aunt, and she says. Her husband at the time, which was my cousin's stepfather, he was a painter. And I went to work with him to make a couple of bucks one day, and I saw the transformation in this courtyard type house, and I was amazed. And so I went back to the Career Center. I went back to high school to the counselor and asked if I could go to the Career Center to learn how to paint. And she said, well, you just stay here, and paint in art. And I'm like... No. I'm not trying to be an artist here. I need a bigger scale where I can make a mess.
Painting a house and painting a house can mean two different things.
Yes, and I am no Bob Ross, that's for sure.
Right.
Happy Clouds, right. No.
You got a lot of marketing people ask us about our interest and those kind of things. Like you got the wrong kind of painting company here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that's it. That's what started. I went to the Career Center. Took carpentry because I was encouraged that was the only place that I'd learn how to paint. And the first year in, it was in the textbook that we were learning about painting, and it was 2 paragraphs. So I got my schooling that year in 2 paragraphs on painting. And luckily the next year I went to, as a senior, somebody needed their house painted, so I worked a half a day and went to school half a day painting this guy's house. Spilt my first gallon of paint all over his bushes, up high, scared to death. I'm still scared to death of heights, but anyway, so that's kind of it. I've been painting ever since, but that's 43 years now that it's been painting, wow. So a little bit of time.
Now, Nick, have you done anything for 43 years? I don't know how old you are. I never asked.
41.
Oh, okay, so you haven't. Kevin's literally been painting longer than you've been alive.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Has anybody put that in the frame yet?
Sometimes
has
I'm
anybody
still the adult relationships.
But there's things that I wonder about that now. That's
somehow Kevin keeps me young.
Yeah. No kid. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, you guys, the transformation thing that you mentioned, Kevin, that's one of the biggest things, and any of the listeners can view the Ohio Painting Company on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, tons of places to go and check out a lot of the work that's been completed by the boys, their crew, and their friends that you guys bring in. They all do an excellent job, but it's not just, hey, I need you and you to go do this. There is a training process, right? It's not just handing them a paintbrush and a bucket and throwing them out there. There's quite a bit that goes into it, right? And I think that might be something that a lot of people don't recognize or realize, and really in any business, is the amount of work that happens behind the scenes. So take us through some of that, and we'll see where this goes after the fact. I'm always interested in the behind the scenes stuff.
Do you want to know where I come from?
I was going to get to it.
All right.
So let's play the game with Nick. I want to know more about you and your time getting in, climbing the ladder. And all right, let's hear it from Nick. I'm sorry I forgot about you. Kevin just did such a good job that I forgot about you. So, all right, no, honestly, please tell me more about Nick.
So yeah, my route was a little more around the bush and unconventional. But I mean, how I got in the paint industry in the first place, I was in college. I always took summer jobs with manual labor. That's just, I always loved it. There was always clean hand or dirty hands, clean money, that whole thing. Like, it was the transformation of whatever I did, whether it was landscaping or anything like that. And so in college, and a buddy approached me who cut his teeth early in real estate, and he's working at the local Goebel banker down in Oxford, Ohio, and he asked me if I had any interest in painting, some turnovers for him over the summer. I was down there for the summer and didn't have a job yet, and I said, yeah, summer school. So I walked in the first place, and I mean, you've been in a college town. These places are not, really nice. They've been painted thousands of times. When I walked in there, it's got to be painted, and it's a converted governor's mansion. It's got, divided into 4 apartments, and anyhow, and I knew right then it was going to be a long summer. But no, after school, many other paths that I thought I was going to go, and ended up working my way up through Sherwin-Williams, and I had a good 6+ year career with them, and I thought I knew a lot. I knew a lot in principle. A lot of book smarts and knowing paint and coatings in and out is probably my strength, and our company is just the knowledge I have on all of that. So 6 year, basically, Sherwin-Williams College, got out, started contracting on my own, and it's a tough world out there, and had, jobs lined up, went through those, had nothing, and Kevin was actually, when I came in the Dayton market, one of the first customers that I met, and we hit it off, and then we went separate ways, and there's actually a guy in Sherwin-Williams, Dustin Brenner, and he reached out, and we stayed in touch through Sherwin-Williams, and Kevin was a customer of his, and said, hey, I think you guys would be a good fit, and I know, I say it in short, I kind of get windy, but anyhow, that's how Kevin and I reconnected, and then that basketball shot. We were painting together on Kevin's projects. I was helping him out and learning a lot, and clearly he saw something in me and took a chance on me, and even saying that. And he's like, I'm going to shoot this ball. If I make it, we're going to make $1 million together. And I was like, ain't no way that's going to happen. And it did.
Right.
And here we are.
Yeah, and that's, one of the best stories, and we'll go back to that original question. Sorry for being a terrible host there for a second, but I'm glad we both know you now. And that basketball shot, before you had the facility, before you had that list of crew members that you can call to get out there, what was that initial thought? What was the moment when you said, here we go? This is how we're going to do this. What were you doing? Are you running it out of a garage? Was there a facility of any capacity? How was that?
Yeah, it was. It's out of the same garage that my wife Devonna just cleaned out again this past weekend without me this time. Yeah, she went one way and I went the other. I headed to go fishing. I was like, there's no freaking way I'm going in there. But yeah, it was a little single car garage, just stacked full of paint, man. I mean, just so much leftover paint because of, bad guesstimations on volume or bad color matches, whatever it was. But we were so poor, I didn't want to throw anything away. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
like whenever you live through the 30s, you are a collector. You know what I mean? You've heard that before,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So, it wasn't the 30s; it was the 70s and the government cheese. I think that got me that big 18-wheeler that pulled up in the Washington County Fairgrounds, and the family went down to grab some cheese. I guess that was the mindset, of why I needed to keep all this, because I actually had something now, even though it was just trash paint. But that's what it was, and yeah, now we're in a little bit bigger facility. This is supposed to be the media office here. I've kind of taken it over, and we've got a 4 or 5 people working for us on the office side. Got a pretty big warehouse, not a monster warehouse, but a pretty nice sized warehouse back there, and probably 6 to 8 crews, running at any given time. We're a little slow right now. It's getting into winter, so we probably are going to run maybe 4 to 6. But yeah, it's turned quite a difference from what I thought it was going to be years ago. So
That the entire start of a business and watching it grow, watching it be a success like it has been for you two and your crew and your office staff. What I want to know now is, what type of inspiration did you see, or what kind of hints and tips did you gather to say, hey, stick with it. We might be able to make something out of this. And this could really go for any business. I would say you're not going to get anywhere if you give up. So obviously you didn't. Nick, you might want to talk a little bit about this. Either of you can jump in. But what was that head down decision? We have to keep doing this despite how broke we are, despite how much government cheese we're eating. Okay, well, how was that road? I mean, was it curvy? Was it smooth? Was it super rocky? Talk me through that.
still is.
It still is. It's definitely not linear growth. There's been several times in the growth of our company that has felt like we've taken 10 to 20 steps backwards. We've made 3 years of what felt like linear progress, and then we'd have to step back almost 4 years. It's like, okay, what have we taken away from these 3 years, the good and the bad, and how do we develop them and implement them right now in some sort of plan to come out the gates again and try it again and enter another round, and hopefully we win this round. And it takes, and I'm not going to hold any punches. It takes remarkable faith and a mission. You're going to feel compelled. You're going to feel a calling. Our faith is in good Lord above and in our Savior Jesus Christ, and through Him, like really only any solid marriage under that. I mean, we fight about. I like to fight about small rickety things. Kevin fights about the large overall visionary things, and that's because that's what we focus on. Those are our strengths, so we're fighting for those. But in there is a merger of mission and also devotion to our Savior. Now, that faith could also be, if you are not oriented in Christ, it can be in yourself. You got to have a strong faith in yourself and a persevering attitude that heck or high water, you're going to fight through it and learn some lessons and not give up. I mean, that's just really what it is. It's a lot of failure and just never giving up.
And ignorance.
Yeah, a little bit of that too. Naivety helps a lot. Ask forgiveness and not permission. Neither one of us are paperwork people.
So I'll chime in on this one since Devonna, if we're good. We good on time?
Oh, yeah.
So, again, okay, so like I did a multi-level marketing for years. Got a lot of good knowledge, book knowledge, head knowledge, great, business knowledge. The thing about that is they tell you to make a mess and figure it out later.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Well, we made a mess, and then the reason I was looking for somebody at the time that Nick came on board was because Devonna and I were praying for something to do besides painting, because I didn't want her going into Kroger at 5 o'clock and paint her whites, strolling a little cart around and
Right.
looking like crap. And so anyway, so Nick comes on board, and kind of lost what I was going with there. Recap.
Making a mess.
Making a mess. And now Devonna's back on board. In the meantime, we didn't know about things such as, what's that one tax that if you make 100 cat tax
for every $1 million that you bring in. As
for every 100,000.
There's
It was 100,000.
It's incremented, but
Yeah.
yes.
So anyway, so
That's one instance.
I was mad at when we switched payroll companies one time, and I didn't want to pay their $1,500 fee. We didn't have $1,500 to switch our 401ks over, right?
Right.
Just get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, nope, you can't do that. So thousands of dollars. I mean, but anyway, so Devonna came in, and she's still cleaning up. I'm gonna cuss. She's still cleaning up shit. I mean, it takes more than bounty. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Whenever you got two guys like us, but the favor. I'll go on the Christianese thing, but the favor of God for sure, man. I'm telling you, he was definitely. He was chilling with us, for sure. Not that he's not right now. Just saying that, back then you could just see the growth was just, again, ignorance. I mean, it was just growing to the point where we were ready to refigure, so that we could get the foundation right again. And we'd, like Nick would say, like Nick said, we'd go back, and we'd fall back a year, it'd look like we were, what's happening, whatever. But that projected us into 40% growth for the next 3 or 4 years, yeah, each year. So not just 40%, but each year we would grow 40%. So things have tapered off obviously now, but it's still, business is great. We're very thankful to be given what we have, and we're trying hard. I probably try the least, truthfully. I've got a little bit easier of a job. I kind of just do estimates and do the visionary stuff. I can tell you, what the goal might be, but
He makes it sound easier. It's more abstract. So really, it's I don't envy his position because he sleeps with it, and that's I compartmentalize really well. So, part of that is boundaries and lifestyle and family, intentional time, but also that's just how my brain operates, and his doesn't. So I mean, there's a lot to the vision aspect.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I was really getting into the story, the backstory, where you guys were versus where you are now. But I guess we can kind of stick on that same track a little bit here, because what I was really interested in was finding out if you guys, did you have the brushes in hand? Were you the only two? Did you have somebody else? Was there another auxiliary person that you knew you could rely on? What was the point when you said, we need to get some crews out here because there's not enough time in a day to get all this stuff done?
So you can go out, anybody can go out with good credit and get a capital loan and try to build something from scratch. I think your success rate is maybe like 2 to 5%. Starting a business like that, you learn a lot of hard lessons. So it's to constrain yourself and work within your budget, and sometimes it might seem like your budget might work, so that just forces you to cut not the important things, because everything's got to be value driven. You can't deceive customers or else you won't build a successful business. So you really do have to live by a set of values and a dedication that you're going to make it work, and you're going to make it work on behalf of them, and you're going to service them.
But on the note of the question, the some of the things that, there were times. Okay, our first job, I remember our first account, we opened up $16,000 check. It was like, woo! And yeah, we had another owner at the time, and at the end of that job, I'm going to go back into that job, but at the end of the job, yeah, I'm going to go back into it. But at the end of that job, that other owner, he was like, what do you mean there's no money left? I'm like, I mean, what do you mean? There's where would the money? Yeah, we had to pay for all the crap, but and ourselves. It just wasn't glorious by any means. But anyway, in that saying that it was a big warehouse. We had one key employee, and it was our very first one, and it was a girl. She had fallen in the epoxy that was on the floor, so
Wow.
she's a mess. Well, anyway, I was talking to her one time and just trying to give her the vision of what we had, and she's crying, thinking, "There's no way I can't do this because I want to. You need to be running 5 and 6 people, with you, blah blah blah." Well, again, the girl's crying, saying, "No, I can't do that." To this day, now she's out there running the crew by herself. Doesn't work with us at all. She's doing great, but when she left, it was Nick and I, and we were like, "Don't they know we're the Ohio Painting Company?"
Right. That was where I was wanting to go next. Was it the Ohio Painting Company at that point?
Yeah,
Is that
it
how-
was
is
at
that
the
what it's
very
always
beginning.
been?
We pick the big
Yeah.
old obnoxious
Yeah.
names. Like,
So-
let's pick something we can't outgrow.
Okay, so back to vocational school, career center, right?
Right.
A guy came back my senior year, a prior senior came back, and he says that he's working in Columbus as a painter. He was making $8 an hour. This is in the 80s, 83 and 82.
So decent amount of money. I wasn't around at that
Yeah,
point. Is that,
I mean,
is that
$8
pretty good?
an hour. It's more than my dad was making in the factory, or
Right,
grandpa,
okay.
I guess I should say to you. But the thought in my head was, man. I can literally remember this to the day. I can't believe that would just be so awesome to own the Columbus Painting Company. You know what I mean? Like a painting company in Columbus. And then I thought, man, to own an Ohio painting company, that you're all over Ohio, right? And that's just what clicked. Well, then, here Nick comes up with this name, how about Ohio Painting? Or maybe I said that, and he
You said Ohio Painting.
and
I'm
Nick
like,
says, well, how about the Ohio Painting Company? I'm like, well, let's steal their logo and everything. No, he did that too. It's not on me at all.
it's a merger. Iron Gate Realtors and Ohio State University.
Yeah.
And people ask us if we're imitating. I said, no, it's a tribute. No, we are the Ohio Painting Company, though.
Yeah, so pretty cool. But
We're
yeah,
trademarked also. We are different enough.
yeah.
All right. I like it. Hey, whatever works. You know what? When I started, no, go ahead.
Well, just that 13 degrees, like that sticker looks like it's crooked up there, but that's part of our logo. It's cocked. It's 13 degrees, so
Right.
it's a little unique, a little off kilter maybe, but clean.
We are too.
Yeah.
Like we said in the beginning, I love the behind the scenes stuff, and I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. This is more of a very first for me, actually being on camera. I'm usually behind the camera or cutting up video that you guys, produce yourself, or I guess film yourself and send it to me, and I'll get it produced up and spread it out online. But this is a whole new thing, and it's a series that we want to keep going for quite a while. I'm new to business, and I'm going to say I'm 3.5 months into business, and I'm sure there are still things that I don't know. That part sucks. I'm going to lean on you guys in the future to maybe get me through some of those hurdles. But like you mentioned, it's still a rocky road. I'm sure you guys still learn and bounce ideas off of each other, and we want to hear those stories throughout this series, and kind of keep the ball rolling on this. So, I mean, I love the stories, Kev and Nick. They were great, and for the future of the Ohio Painting Company podcast, I think we do have a lot of good content that people can benefit from, apply to their own business. It doesn't matter if it's painting, it doesn't matter if it's auto detailing, or whatever it may be, audio and video production like I do in Southeast Ohio. Whatever it may be. Business can be business, period. It just takes the right stuff to make it work. And, I mean, you guys are an excellent example of that. So
I told Nick one time, almost verbatim what you said. I'm such a smart aleck. I said, I've forgotten more stuff than you know. Oh, boy. Yeah, that takes a little arrogance. But without a doubt, by default, you learn a lot of things. And business-wise, we're new into it, really. I mean, 2011, and we're just trucking along there and being very thankful for what we have and working through that. Devonna's going to have to sit in on one of these meetings if she doesn't just totally overtake us, with the knowledge that she has as far as what needs to be done if you're going to do it right. She'll give you the lowdown on that for sure, because I can tell you, if you don't follow and dot and cross all the things you need to do, right? Cross your T's and dot your I's. It's just a headache,
Right.
So find somebody that can do that. And if you can't do it, if you're the visionary, you need an integrator. Is that right?
Yeah.
An integrator.
Somebody that can at least fake it enough to get you a point to bring somebody on.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to look perfect. The whole picture, like I said, it's not linear. So, find someone you can lean into. If it's not you, and if it's somebody in a fractional capacity, an independent business that will look at your accounting part-time. Build a good team. Don't be afraid to make changes. Honor your commitments, and then when commitments fail, not on your end but somebody else's, then don't hesitate to move forward and stay on top of it and stay humble. We've gone through enough weather to feel like we could offer sound advice, and we think we know it all at some point, and we are continually humbled. And when that happens, you can't get mad. You just have to check yourself and learn from it and reset what you need to, and because you are always learning. So
Right.
even if you have to reinvent the wheel because you've hit that wall, you're going to reinvent it a lot more efficiently, and you're going to get rid of a lot of the fat and the stuff that makes it clunky.
This is important, especially if you need to take time. If you have to take time away, get out of you hear this all the time in business. Get out of the business, okay, and look into the business. All right, don't be in it, right? Go fishing. Find you some nice lures and go fishing and thunk on it for a while. Because I'm telling you, the freedom that's inside your head, whenever you're not bogged up with what's going on in the business, gives you a lot more freedom to know where you're going to go in the future. It helps a lot. And people won't follow you. I promise. They will not. They will balk. They will say, you're stupid. That's a dumb idea. But keep throwing the ideas out there. And I like what they do to me is they say, if I've still got something 30 days from the day that I started mentioning it, then we should probably take a look at it. And if not, it could be just a fleeting thought. And I've had a lot of those. I get thoughts every day. But you need that freedom to keep the constructiveness, keep it all in there and make sure that you're doing the right thing. You need that freedom inside your head. So there's a lot of good stuff like that.
Kevin and Nick, founders of the Ohio Painting Company, on the Ohio Painting Company podcast. We want to thank you both for stopping in, and one of hopefully many episodes to come. We want to thank everybody for joining us, and keep an eye and an ear out for more. Give us a like and a follow at the Ohio Painting Company on your social media platforms, and we'll keep you up to date on everything that's going on. So guys, again, I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking to you, pleasure seeing you, and we'll do it again soon.
All right, thanks, Brett.
Thank you, buddy. See ya.